Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you are watching us live here today in the Online Business Builders Facebook group or over on our YouTube channel, that's Ask David and Dana. I'm also broadcasting on our Facebook page, our business page. So, want to get this message out because I know that folks have problems with objections. You know, you're running your business, you're doing all the things, and then somebody says, "Nope, nope, not interested." But, they're using a screen. They're using an excuse. Something like, and you tell me in the comments, what are some of the most common objections you face? But, in general, and I've done polls over time, we've got the time objection. um, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time, that doesn't fit into my schedule, all of the things. Those are excuses that people are using, the objection to purchasing what you have to offer. And there's a reason, that they're using that objection, and we'll look at that here in a little bit. What are some of the other ones? Money, too much, it's too expensive, I can't afford that. Quite frankly, if people really want what you have and money, is tight, there'll be ways that they can maneuver their budget a little bit, or things they could sell, or people they could borrow from. You've heard it all. So using the money objection, that's very common. In fact, I think that might be number one if I were to rate them. But I'm curious, we got money, we've got time. What are some of the other ones? Big ones, I guess. We'll just look at a third one. I've got to check with my spouse. Like, that's a big decision. I've got to get them to buy in on that for me. I don't know how it works in your family, but if David or I find something that we're really super excited about, and it's, let's say over $100, then we have a conversation about it. Anything under $100, hey, go buy that, no problem. And but some couples are, let's talk about every financial decision, and that's great. And so what do you do when somebody comes back with that objection? Well, we can talk about all of them, and if I have some comments coming in, I would be happy to particularly talk through your particular issue, and maybe we could even break up look at a conversation and figure that out. That's something that we routinely do with our coaching clients. But I came across um, some information about helping people with the money objection. And I know that's up there. People say they don't have the money, and how do you get around that? And as a Christian business owner in particular, a lot of times we don't want to get pushy and slammy and sleazy, like a lot of times. If you're on a sales call with someone and you put up your objection, this isn't the right time, or finances, I don't have that in my budget, however you want to say, you're using that excuse because you haven't maybe seen the vision that they're trying to paint for you. And as we're trying to do the offer to our folks, we have to remember we need to really paint the vision so that money is not an issue. And if it is, we can find a way to work it out. And again, as Christian business owners, we want to be respectful, and we don't want to be that pushy salesperson, right? And if people say, I don't have the money right now, who are we to question them? That basically is telling us that we haven't done our job right. We haven't painted that picture. So what can you say in those moments? You really can't backpedal and start painting the vision over. You've already given your spiel, but you can soften it a little bit here at this moment when they've said, hey, money, I don't have the money right now. What do you think about saying something like this? If money wasn't an issue, or say, let's set the money issue aside, and then ask the question, would this be the perfect solution for you right now? You can be honest with me. I love adding that little bit. You can be honest with me. What that does is it just sort of opens up a conversation in a new window. You can be honest with me. They start to see you in a new light. They start to trust you a little bit more. After all, you're asking a question. You're setting aside the objection. If money wasn't an issue, if you had all the money in the world, kind of thing, paint that picture for them. You can kind of redirect their attention. And then, would this be the perfect solution? And you can build on that a little bit more, but simply paint that for them. You can be honest with me. I love that. I love that. Try that next time. See how that works. Let me know. Or here's another option, and it may or may not work for your particular situation, but it may be exactly what you need to do, and it's something you may not have thought of. The second thing you can say in response to their money objection is, well, would a payment plan help? A lot of times, we're going great guns. We're showing them our stuff, and we give them this price tag. Yep, it's going to be $10,000. Well, who has $10,000 liquid, perhaps? That sounds like a lot of money. And if they don't already love you and they're oozing with trust and all of that, then that's a huge price. So have you thought of having a payment plan, breaking that into monthly payments, let's say? And of course, don't if you do that, give yourself a little bonus. Most people will tell you if your main price is, 10,000, let's say, and you're going to break that up over, a number of months, make sure that at the end of the day, you're actually getting more than $10,000, that you've increased your monthly payments a little bit, so that maybe at the end of the day, you're getting 12,000. But it's the bonus that they've gotten a payment plan so that they can afford it in their budget. And you've gotten a client that you can help and serve exactly the way that you wanted to. And you're getting a little bit of an insurance policy there by having a little bit more money coming in at the end. And then the third option is, and this one, I love this one. I've never used this one. I heard someone else use it, not on me, but just in a conversation of training. What if we created something special or custom for you? So what are you doing in that statement? You are calling out that they are special, that you want to help them, that you are willing to do something custom for them because you see that this is the perfect solution for them. And so you're going to do something out of the ordinary to make it work. Now, these are all things you need to think of ahead of time and be prepared for, because you want to have the solution in place, but you want to also know that this objection is going to come. And if you haven't done a good enough job in painting the picture of casting the vision of how awesome your solution is for them, that they're just, dying to get out their credit card, then you need to have some tools. You need to have some ways of overcoming those objections. Now, I hope that you found those helpful. We were just focusing in on the money objection, but you could, of course, come up with similar responses and ways to overcome the other objections as well. There are all kinds of creative things you can do with time. People say they don't have time. Well, for me, example, I like to offer them then a complimentary time productivity session where we actually look at a calendar. We actually look at all of the activities that make up someone's day, their work day or their work week, and try to find those pockets of time that they may be wasting. Because I don't know about you, I waste time. And if we're all true to ourselves, we all waste time. And when you waste time, it's gone. You can't get it back. So if time is their excuse, you know that there's ways that you can help them overcome that. And if anyone is out there right now, I'm not selling anything today. I'm just kind of giving some wisdom, sharing some things I've heard and learned and used over the time. But if you guys are having that time issue, let me know, because that's one of my favorite things to do, is to jump on a 30-minute session where we really pick apart where those time gaps are and give you some tools that you can actually use to make yourself more productive. And who doesn't need to feel like they've just manufactured a little time? I know I do. I know I love it when something opens up and I have that realization that, oh my gosh, I have more time. How am I going to spend that? And then it becomes the piece where don't waste it. Don't waste it. And if the objection has to do with something like, my spouse, I need to ask them. I think one tip I would throw out there about that one is to welcome that, to say, oh, yes, I respect when couples, need to be on the same page when it comes to an expense. I'm so glad that you have that objection, and you don't call it an objection, but that you have that concern. And that I understand that, and use an example or a story from your own life where you've had that similar thing happen. And if it hasn't happened to you personally, there are others out there, and maybe you've had other couples that have walked through this with you before. So use another example, but affirm them. That's kind of a positive way of handling these objections. Whatever the objection is, to affirm it. Let them know that you've heard them and that is a valid excuse, even though you know that it's a screen, that you know that they're just not wanting to say no, perhaps. But you need to dig in a little bit on any objection and realize if it's truly a no or if they're just trying to be nice, right? But when you affirm the couple one, offer to get the wife or the husband on a call so that you can answer any question that they might have, that you can help out your potential customer and friend to answer those questions that those spouses might have, so that they don't have to. So they don't have to feel like they didn't know enough to go bring this opportunity to their spouse. Find a time when you can get both couples on the call. And then you know how to do it from there. You know how to speak to their pains. You know how to show your solution will take away all of that pain. So I hope that just some of the nuggets that I've dropped today are going to be helpful to you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make the offer of what you have, what you can help people do. Don't be afraid of the objections. Welcome them. The fact that you have objections in the first place show you that the folks are interested. They're just not ready. I'm going to say that again. When you get an objection, the folks are interested. They're just not ready. You just need to figure out, okay, if there's a gap here, how do I get them from being interested to being ready? What is it that you can say? How is it that you can act? What more value can you add to get them interested? All right, well, that's what I've got for you today. It's my 15 minutes of Live at 5, and I hope that whether now you're watching on the replay, that this has been a blessing to you. And I will look forward to reading your comments. Anything that you want to add about objections you've encountered or ways that you've overcome them. This is a great place to share those. And if there's ever a time that you want to reach out, I will put a link to that time productivity session that I was talking about. I will put a link in the comments to this video in case that's something that you'd be interested in hearing more about for your own self, and to see how I conduct that call so that maybe you could use that in your own business or something like that for your own customers. All right, until next time, be safe, be well, and of course, be blessed.